it had a lot of ups and downs. I mean, he would tackle it, and then all of a sudden there'd be a reoccurring problem.
Yeah.
And just when they thought they had it licked, there was a couple more spots that kind of came up, and then they decided they were going to have to kind of go a little more extensive with the chemo. So then he started that. That actually looked like it was pretty. So literally over 7 years, better part of 7 years, or closer to 8. He battled, and he battled hard, back and forth. And it really wasn't until the last 2 that he started to have some bigger issues and decline. And, unfortunately, as you know, Giles, sometimes the cure is worse than the problem. And the constant bombardment, he could only take so much, and his body just started to fight, the cure, so to say, the chemo and such. And at that point, it was kind of a losing effort, but he did all he could do. I mean, he made the best of it, but he walked every morning, got his cardio in.
Yep.
He'd have his tea, of course, and that was a given. You had to have the tea, but we filmed as long as we could, and that's when things started to become difficult, and we couldn't do that anymore. So David Bay kind of stepped in, and we did it for a little while. Then our schedules became too much.
Yeah.
But he always loved it. He would constantly be giving me feedback, and we have similar humor, that kind of dry sense. We always got along great from day one, literally. And became one of my closest friends. And but he, even right up until the end, I mean, they got the Olympia pay-per-view.
Wow.
I told Ann, I says, look, I'm going to, obviously he wasn't in a good state, just a few weeks back. And I says, look, I'm going to dedicate the Olympia weekend to Peter. And she was obviously very, receptive to that and pleased to it. And I says, well, I'm going to make sure his legacy is carried on and people know who Peter McGough is for as long as I'm around on this earth. So, but yeah, she actually showed it to him, and he was pretty pleased.
Oh,
and
fantastic!
So right up until because he was lucid, he was cognizant. He knew obviously he was in decline, but he still had a sense of humor right till the end, and he still enjoyed. I don't know how much he got a chance to watch, the Olympia. I know he saw the dedication because Ann actually said she showed it to him, so that was special.
We actually Dan's got it now. I filmed it in the summer with John Hansen and Peter. It was we did an Olympia history from 65 to 95, and that's never been posted. I sent it to Dan very recently, and I believe they're going to post it on the Olympia channel.
That would be great. The thing, what made Peter special was not just his sense of humor and the way he tackled things. It was his dedication not only to the sport, but to the people in the sport. A lot of people don't know this, but this would be an appropriate time to say it. When Peter got, quote, let go from Flex Magazine and all that, they kind of parted ways with, David Pecker and AMI and all that. It was Peter who actually quit. They didn't really fire him. What happened was they wanted him to make a bunch of cuts, and they wanted him to get rid of a bunch of people. And Peter flat out refused to do it.
Oh, wow.
He wouldn't do it. He just said no. He says, this is my team. These are the people I need. We've already trimmed the fat, so to say, I guess earlier that year or the year before, they had gotten rid of some people that they weren't really the inner circle people. These were like writers and people that were integral to the workings of Flex Magazine. And, by that point, he was working all three, Muscle and Fitness and hers. Mm-hmm. And he flat out refused. He said, I will absolutely not. Tell you what, you want to fire somebody, fire me.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And this is, like I say, a lot of things will come out now that people didn't know at the time. They just figured out, they just got rid of Peter. It's like, no, Peter kind of got rid of himself. He refused, and he did that because he believed in his people and his team, and he wasn't going to do that to people, and he put himself on the chopping block, and that's when they decided to part ways.
Isn't it a shame that Jake Wood didn't buy the Olympia back? I know it's back in, but imagine, I think things might have gone a bit differently, mate.